What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla King of the Monsters discussion video. So I think one of the more interesting aspects to come out of King of the Monsters is the idea of Mothra and what is happening with her, because she blows up. She is dead, kind of, in two ways. First of all, she is absorbed into Godzilla, and we see that she is a part of him now. When he uses his nuclear pulse, not only do we hear her roar, but we actually see her wings flap out inside the nuclear pulse. So she is now a part of Godzilla, but also she's still alive, kind of. So throughout the movie and throughout the Monarch website and really throughout the expanded lore in general, we see lots of hints to legends of adult Mothras fighting alongside Godzilla, of an adult Mothra that has been seen through history that was some sort of benevolent god that was worshipped and was also had a great relationship with humanity. And in the movie, we get the idea that Mothra and Godzilla have some sort of pre-established friendship and relationship, so there's something going on there. We can actually explain that now because Michael Dougherty's a legend and he explained it for us essentially, but there's a lot going on there. There's some sort of weird connection. There's also something going on with Dr. Chen and Dr. Ling, and we don't totally know what's going on with them. Are they the Shoujin? Are they not? Monarch found an egg in the end credits. What is that egg? Is it actually Mothra? Who knows? Will we see Mothra again? I think we're gonna see Mothra again. We're gonna go through a whole bunch of tweets that Michael Dougherty has responded to, two of which are mine, which is awesome. I love you, Michael Dougherty. That is so cool that we have someone involved in King of the Monsters, involved in the Monsterverse, that is just so willing to respond to the fans and to really give in to the community. It's amazing. He truly is a fan, and it's awesome. We'll go through some of his tweets because I find them very interesting. So these set up for the future of the Monsterverse past Godzilla vs. Kong, I'm assuming, unless they are going to put Mothra in Godzilla vs. Kong, which we will talk about how they could do that towards the end. But these are all setting up for the idea of Mothra's return in the Monsterverse. Starting out, Michael Dougherty confirmed that in between the time Mothra does her God rays to get Godzilla revived, essentially, between the time she does her God rays and the time Godzilla comes out of the water to shoot his atomic breath into the sky, Mothra heads off to China, where she then lays an egg. That egg is then discovered by Monarch shortly after the events of King of the Monsters, and that is the egg that the newspaper wrote an article about. So Mothra was prepping to die. She knew she was going to wind up having to sacrifice herself in the Battle of Boston, and so she went and laid an egg just in case. This also explains why she is late to join the fight in the Battle of Boston. It's because she flew all the way to China so that she could preserve her legacy. Michael Dougherty has the direct quote, "Mothra never really dies. She represents the eternal cycle of birth, life, death, and rebirth, and she knows it." This is in response to someone tweeting Michael Dougherty saying, "Will we ever see Mothra again?" I think that is very significant. Mothra knows that she's gonna die. That's why she does what she does. She represents this cycle and she knows it. Sure. The interesting aspect is rebirth, hinting to the rebirth of Mothra, Mothra returning in the Monsterverse. I asked Michael Dougherty, is Mothra just kind of instinctually Godzilla's friend? Does she actually know Godzilla? Do they have a relationship? Because she's just born. She has had no contact with him prior to the events of King of the Monsters. Is it because her memories are passed down, or is it just because of instinct? Michael Dougherty has the quote, "I like the idea that the memories are passed on genetically, which means the new Mothra, the one that comes out of the egg, will have the same memories of the last Mothra." He also explains why Mothra freaked out based on that, now that Mothra has confirmed to have returning memories, why she freaked out when she woke up in the Temple of the Moth, which we'll get to in a minute. But again, I think that's super significant. If Mothra's memories are passed down genetically, that means she's going to remember the events of Godzilla King of the Monsters. She's going to remember waking up in this world where humans don't really like her. She's going to remember waking up in this world where she's had to defend and die for Godzilla, and Ghidorah is out. She's going to have that all down. She's also going to have a grudge with Rodan, who she may have spared. There's an interesting theory that I have heard. I'm sorry, I forget who was the one who brought it to my attention, but the idea that Mothra knew she could kill Rodan in that moment when she stabs him with the stinger but chooses to spare his life, I actually think that is what she does, because she definitely could have gotten him in the heart or in the head or wherever she wanted to, but she picks the shoulders so that he'll get crippled instead of dying. I'd be interested to see if they are going to follow up on Mothra and Rodan's relationship in a future movie, or if they're just going to continue to develop Mothra and Godzilla's relationship. As for the Shoujin, the direct quote is, "They are present and accounted for. Dr. Ling and Dr. Chen are the Shoujin, 100% confirmed. It's not an Easter egg. It is actually what happened in this universe. They are the Shoujin, and the Shoujin, much like Mothra, appear to be passed on in generations. It seems to be a generational thing where every generation in the Chen family, there will be a new set set of twins who have this connection with Mothra. And the connection that they have, when I tweeted Michael Dougherty to ask him, do they just like Mothra? Are they just familiar with him because they have like a past with her? Or is it because they actually have a mystical connection? He confirms that they do have a mystical connection. So there you go. And if you read the ending credits for Godzilla King of the Monsters, some of the redacted text says that there are human beings who have developed the ability to communicate telepathically with certain titans. That, coupled with the guy from Kong Skull Island, or from Skull Island Birth of Kong, I should say, who developed telepathic abilities after drinking juice on Skull Island, bringing those two things together, we now have the idea of telepathy in the Monsterverse where certain characters will have magical connections to the titans. I mean, the Monsterverse gets more and more unrealistic with every movie. I still don't want to mech in it, but it gets more and more fantastical with every movie, with every installment. I think this is great. I really like the idea that they do have this magical connection. I would love to see that developed. Xia Zhang, who plays both characters, is confirmed to be returning for Godzilla vs. Kong and anything else that follows. Her contract did not just say King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong, so she is confirmed to be returning. She will be a major part in Godzilla vs. Kong, supposedly. Supposedly she plays a very big role in the movie. I very much anticipate that her connection with Mothra will be developed quite a bit within the next movies. And you know, that's assuming that we get more than just Godzilla vs. Kong, which I think we will. I'm sure we will. I just think they'll scale back the budgets a little bit and start co-producing with Toho so that they don't have to worry about everything. It's not 100% financial risk on Legendary and Warner Brothers' part. Now it's shared between 3 studios. Maybe even Wanda Group wants to get back in with it like they did with Kong. I have no idea. But they have a connection. And for why Mothra freaked out when she woke up inside of her temple, Michael Dougherty explains, so when she first hatched as a larva in the temple, she was expecting to be welcomed by the twins. So there you go, the twins and her worshippers. She thought that the twins were going to be there, and of course they are not. They are scattered. One of them's in China doing something else. We're not sure what Dr. Ling's up to. Dr. Chen, she is currently with Castle Bravo team in the Bermuda Triangle. So she thought she was going to be worshipped by her twins when she came out, and she wakes up to see dudes with stun guns pointed right at her, one of which shoots her. The guy that she grabs and throws into the spider web, Michael Dougherty confirms that although she does not kill him because he lands in a web, apparently there is a giant spider waiting in that web to eat him. So that guy, he gets it rough, doesn't he? Kumunga just is waiting there. I think all of this is incredibly important. Mothra's rebirth in the Monsterverse. We've already seen a rebirth of Mothra. I think we will see the rebirth of Mothra in the next movie. I think Mothra's going to be back. Mothra has been set up in the Monsterverse to be this sort of god figure that wants to maintain the balance, that will help Godzilla at all costs to maintain that balance, and has a pre-established mutual friendship. I mean, they call it a symbiotic relationship, but Michael Dougherty has confirmed on Twitter that it's basically a friendship. I know there's some people saying that it's something more than that, but let's not feed into that right now. It's her job to maintain balance, and she's going to go about that at all costs. That might play a big part in Godzilla vs. Kong, because Kong is an essential part of this balance. Kong keeps everything on Skull Island in check. If everything on Skull Island goes out of whack, everything on the world goes out of whack. The monsters can now escape through the Hollow Earth. They can now show up wherever else, and they can invade the world. Now Godzilla has to do it all on his own. Godzilla and Kong are kind of teammates, and they don't even realize it. And Kong is confirmed to be an alpha. Kong is confirmed to be the only creature other than Godzilla and Mothra who will not bow to Ghidorah's calls. So I think that is going to be a very important relationship and dynamic that they are going to play upon in Godzilla vs. Kong. And I like the idea, as I discussed in previous videos, that the way you can reintegrate Mothra into the Monsterverse is by having her hatch in Godzilla vs. Kong and be the reason that the fight ends. Godzilla or Kong, whoever wins that fight, can be about to deliver the death blow, and then Mothra can intervene and stop that from happening. That way, we don't have to have the characters team up, but we can build towards it in the future. If Mothra was there to negotiate, to de-escalate the situation, kind of like what she does in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster with Rodan and Godzilla, that is a great way to set that up. I mean, look at what happened with Rodan and Godzilla in the Showa era. Mothra stops them, brings them together to fight Ghidorah, and then they're friends from that point on. I think something similar could happen with Godzilla and Kong. Mothra can de-escalate the situation. If need be, in a future movie, she can bring the two of them together, and then we can have our Godzilla and Kong movie where they're teamed up. As for what I would do with Mothra in the Monsterverse, other than that, because I actually do really like that idea, I would have a Rebirth of Mothra movie. That's probably what I would call it, because that'd be a cool throwback to the 90s movies, but I would have a Rebirth of Mothra movie. I think there's a lot you could do with it. I mean, first of all, you have Chen and Ling, who are confirmed to be coming back. They could play a huge part in the movie. They are now Mothra's official Shobijin with some sort of magical connection to her, so you can elaborate on that. I'd love to see Madison Russell come back and have it shown that Madison Russell also has some sort of connection with Mothra, as she was the only human who touched Mothra. I'd love to see that happen. I'd love that that character to return as well. Bring in Mark Russell too, because come on, might as well. I'd like to see a reborn Mothra show up. She doesn't have to show up in Godzilla vs. Kong. She can show up in this Rebirth movie. If she shows up in the Rebirth movie, what I would do is have her wake up second. I would have a first Mothra wake up. You think it's the good guy. It has either been messed up by radiation, as some of you suggested in my live stream, or it has become angry at what has happened to planet Earth. It has become angry with the way humans have treated the Earth, and it goes a little bit berserk. We then find out that this is a creature known as Batra, so there you go. You could bring Batra into the Monsterverse. Batra would be perfect inclusion into the Monsterverse because it's a realistic enough character. If Mothra can be done, Batra can be done. They go hand in hand. You could bring Batra into the Monsterverse. You'd probably need another big bad to kind of sell it, because I don't think Batra alone is a big enough monster. Maybe Rodan and Batra could team up. I have no idea. That would raise the stakes, certainly. And then you could have Mothra continue that grudge match with Rodan, which would be fun to see. I'm not sure what Godzilla would be doing during all this, but I don't want Godzilla in this movie. I think if they do a Rebirth movie, Godzilla can't be a part of it. He's got to be somewhere else, sleeping, regenerating after his fight with Kong. Who knows? He's just in the Hollow Earth. He needs some time off. I think a really cool thing to do would be to have this Batra show up, for them to be like, yeah, every once in a while, the show would explain, like every once in a while in Legend, there is an evil Mothra essentially that will try and wipe out humanity or wipe out the dominant species to restore balance that way, and Mothra always comes into conflict with it. That'd be really cool. And because King Kong has been set up as the protector of humanity in the comic books, I think it'd be fantastic to have Kong and Mothra team up. I don't know why, but I really like the idea of having Kong and Mothra work together in a fight. And if you have Mothra fighting Batra and Rodan, you could do it so that Mothra has to fight Batra Rodan with Kong on her side. That'd be really cool. And then you could get Kong versus Rodan. That'd be amazing. I don't know, guys. That's just my thoughts. But what kind of video do I even call this? It's a discussion video, because it really is. It's kind of an explained video, kind of a breakdown, and kind of just for fun. Well, we're gonna wrap up the video here, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. D-Man out.